So some folks have asked me if I like to use these, I guess maybe they're not quite mnemonic devices, but these sayings that we have for polyrhythms, like pass the bread and butter, pass the bread and butter, for like a 4/3 polyrhythm. And the short answer is I have not found those to be super useful for a couple of reasons. The first one is it only gives you one angle from which to view the polyrhythm. In pass the bread and butter, pass the bread and butter, pass the bread and butter, pass. It's very clearly 4/3. 3 is the meter that I'm feeling as the reference, right? And then I'm playing or hearing 4 on top of that. 3/4 feels totally different. And while the math of all of this is cool, like it really is about feel for me. I think polyrhythms have a feel to them. And I think that's the important thing to like sort of hone in on. So they feel 4/3 and 3/4 feel very, very, very different. So I don't think like, that sort of mnemonic device, I have to learn 2 of them for every polyrhythm that I want to play. But more importantly, unless you're a percussionist or a pianist, it's really unlikely that you're going to be playing both parts of that, of any polyrhythm. Rather, I think you're going to be thinking of or asked to play in 3/4, right? So you're going to be having 3 as a new pulse over the original 4 pulse and asked to do something in that 3. So if I was asked to do that, I would set that up like this. I'm going to be in 4, so I'm going to be feeling 4 as the pulse. I'm going to subdivide this pulse into 3s using taquitas. Taquita, 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 ta. And then I'm going to regroup those as groups of 3. Or sorry, groups of 4. Taquita, 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 takadimi, 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 ta. Then I'm going to take out all the kadimis and just feel that big quarter note. Ta, 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 ta. Regroup it as a big group of 3. Ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta. Now I can feel that 3 as the new pulse, and I can play any sort of subdivision grouping in that big 3. Ta, ki, ta, takadimi, 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 takadimi. Takita, 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 ta. So this is how I would feel play in 3/4 rather than just 3/4. And that's why I don't think the sayings or the mnemonic devices or whatever you want to call them are super helpful in really diving into what it means to play on a polyrhythm or what it means to play in 3/4 or in 4/3 or in 5/2 or whatever. The ability to play both of them is fine, but for most people, that's not really the point. It's the ability to feel a new pulse over an original pulse and then do something else with that pulse. So that's why I think that this system of learning polyrhythms, while it takes more work, more effort, and you have to sit with it for a while, I think ultimately it's more beneficial for all musicians, not just percussionists.